Hey guys, this week's podcast features Paul and Nate from Rochester's Brick and Mortar Food Truck. Paul and Nate came down, talked about their start in the culinary world, working at restaurants, and why they started a food truck. Let's get to it.
Brick and I always say brick and mortar.
It took us quite a long time. I would sit there in my car for at least a half an hour just repeatedly say it. And now I can't say brick and mortar.
Right.
I have to think about saying it.
We've been up running since October 4th. So, what, 9 months now?
Yeah, something around there.
Really? Just 9 months?
Going on 10 months.
That's crazy.
So, our first day was at the Rochester Public Market. It was a food truck rodeo.
Really?
Which was sweet because, I mean, it's the only way to do it is to jump into it.
Yeah.
So,
that was, like, there have been a couple rodeos in Rochester, haven't there?
Yeah, there was 2 at the Public Market last year. And then there's been some smaller ones, like at Genesee Regional Valley Market. And then some at, like, the local YMCAs.
Okay.
Actually, next Wednesday is the first one of the season at the Public Market. I'm going to do one the last Wednesday of every month including October. October is the last one.
Wow.
So, because it was such a hit. I mean, there was, 20 trucks there?
Yeah.
In October? I mean, there was probably 2,000.
20 trucks? Wait,
yeah,
are they all from Rochester? Or?
Some came in from outside of Rochester.
Oh, okay.
Not too far, though.
But not far out, some from Geneseo and stuff like that. So, but I mean, it's...
they got pretty intensive. Some people were waiting an hour and a half for grilled cheese.
Right.
And stuff like that. So,
and they were doing it because all the other trucks had huge lines.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to stand in line, you got to stand in some line.
Yeah. That's kind of a crazy day, though, to have as your first day. Like, to get thrown into the fire like that.
I agree. I mean, we were just like, we were waiting. We were actually going to try to be up and running for a smaller rodeo that was at like a flower/farm store that was like 2 weeks prior, but the truck was a little behind. Mm. So we were like, well, let's just do it. Let's just hold off until October 4th and go for it.
And we've worked the line for quite a long time. So it was, it's really just on a mobile platform.
Right.
So it's,
it's just in a smaller kitchen. That's it. So I mean, we'd messed around in the truck, cooking for family and friends. Actually, only once. We prepped in the truck a bunch, but we'd actually only done service out of the truck one day before that. And I really think it was the day before the rodeo. So we were just kind of going, we winged it. And, I mean, it was a great day. Yeah. It was long. It was fun. We definitely found out right away what wouldn't work, what would work. From everything from service style to, driving the truck home at the end of the night. And how to stack stuff properly inside the truck, because we found out real quick that things like to move around. Because we have all this, all of our, it's our kitchen. There's no commissary, so everything stays on that truck, which makes it difficult. But I mean, it's also you don't have to worry about forgetting something because everything's there. So,
Jesus, what So I guess let's start at the beginning, kind of brick and mortar, which I still have to say in my head.
That's all right. Even people all the time. I mean, we just did a presser with the mayor announcing the food truck rodeo, and the truck was right behind them, and they still called it brick and mortar. It's like, turn around, it's right here. And I'm sure all the press people
never oblivious of anything. So
I'm sure that all the press people were like, you just said it wrong, but they just kept with it.
Yeah. So both of you guys are from the restaurant world, right?
Correct,
yeah.
That's kind of an awesome thing, because like Buffalo's first couple food trucks besides Lloyd, there wasn't that connection. It was more like people who were interested in it, didn't have like necessarily like training. Were you guys both school trained or?
Yep.
Paul went to Paul Smith's, and then I went to Johnson & Wales.
Okay, wow, yeah. So you guys are legit trained.
I wouldn't really call it legit. I mean, I learned more outside of school than I did in school.
Yeah.
I mean, with any job, any schooling you go to, it's hands-on experience was what works best for you. But I think we were. I mean, there's not many trucks in Rochester with actual. No disrespect, but actual chefs. People who've worked in the industry.
Yeah.
In the kitchen. There's some trucks out there that front of the house staff. They decided that this is what they wanted to do. And then there's a bunch of people who, midlife crisis. We're going to do this.
We get all the time why we didn't open brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And
then people say, "Wait, is that why it's brick and mortar?"
But we love the idea and the freedom it gives us.
Yeah.
And being able to really cook whatever we want on what day.
Yeah.
At what time.
So when did you guys think about starting even a company or business or anything?
Paul was thinking about it for a while before I talked to him.
Yeah.
I was looking to leave where I was and go back to what I was doing before, which was personal chefing.
Okay.
And so he brought the idea to me. We were mushroom hunting.
Nice.
And it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
So at this time, did like Rochester have any type of food truck scene?
Le Petit Poutine. Don't quote me on this. I think she's been in business for 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then Marty's Meats and Hello Arepa opened up within months before us.
Okay.
And then there's some other trucks that have been out there. You know, Tuscan Tony's. He had a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently in the process of building a truck. And there's some other ones out there. Wraps on Wheels and I don't know when Chowder Up opened up, but
there was Sammy Sandwich.
And Sammy Sandwich, who unfortunately he sold his truck 7 months ago.
Okay.
It's down in Binghamton, operating the same way as it was up here. Just the government restrictions at the time were...
Yeah, I think... I remember just on Facebook seeing... It was just Sandwich or whatever.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And that was like one of the first food trucks I ever saw besides like Lloyd, really. Like, they're pretty out there pretty early.
And I never really saw them around town. And, because at the time I didn't realize that there were restrictions that were on trucks.
Yeah.
So, he was out in the suburbs and kind of renegading it where he could.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he got to a point where he realized it wasn't a good business decision to stay in business because the government was kind of holding them back.
Yeah.
I mean, the local government.
I think he had some health concerns also.
As well as, some health concerns. But
yeah. So when you guys, like, decided, like, the food truck idea, like, how long did it take you to figure out the type of food that was going to be on the truck?
I think we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think the coolest part about your truck is that it's not like a narrow focus.
I think there's a couple other trucks that kind of do similar stuff to what we do around the country. There's one in Boston called Staff Meal, and they changed their menu around. But
That's
I really
awesome
just
name.
came to Paul and said, what do you like? What are you really good at cooking, and what do you really like to cook?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of, get one idea here, even watching Food Network or driving down the street, you see a tomato, and you just think of, something else you could do with it. So.
I mean, because I've seen like ramen on the menu. I've seen bao sandwiches. I've seen just hamburgers. Like it's kind of
we go with the burger every day because it's a fail safe because we like to kind of
because everyone can eat a burger,
right?
And there's not a lot of good burgers around. Yeah, to say, I mean, there's a lot of burgers, but there's not a lot of good burgers.
Right, and we grind our own meat
Rochester.
every day. I mean, it's all hand ground for the truck, and it's a fail safe. People aren't comfortable with the regular menu, they can go with the burger. They're gonna love it. They're not gonna be like, oh, it's just a burger. They're really gonna love it.
Yeah.
We like to push the limits with whatever we can, and have fun and see what people will eat, and then we'll take it off if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then we'll revisit it, a couple weeks later and do it again. Maybe try to change it a little bit to get people to eat it, to entice it. Nate's really good in the window to make people feel comfortable getting what they're getting. If they've never had it before, or if it's something that they're not comfortable with.
Demographics, just like a lot of Western New York, there's a lot of things that are foreign, so they're very apprehensive. Even small things like arugula. So, if you can explain it to them in something that they've already had, and they can draw connections to it, then they're much more willing to try something different.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Lloyd saw that just with cabbage on like because of Mighty Taco's presence in the area.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they serve a taco and people look at it and it looks like a salad and they don't understand. So we have Buffalo still has plenty of those issues.
I mean, I think Western New York food scene in general is behind.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of things. Things come here slower.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's moving forward everywhere in Western New York, which is a great thing. Every day there's somebody pushing the limits to change what's going on. So, and that's what we want to do on the street. Mm-hmm. Take it to them. Yeah. So them having to find a good restaurant to go to.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what appealed to us is that the food is a lot more approachable. Mm-hmm. You don't have to get a reservation. You don't have to sit down, at a white tablecloth dinner and, talk to a waiter for an hour. You get the food. You enjoy it with your friends. You can go home. And it's really just an organic experience with the food rather than the whole ambiance and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. How has it been with like putting those weirder things on the menu and seeing your customer base over, like, let's say since October? Have you been noticing that you can get away with more stuff or weirder stuff?
I think that's what the burger helps us do is that, once they figure out that that's, I guess, kind of the way we cook, that it's tastier than what I guess you'd expect, than a normal burger, that they're more willing to try something else because they're comfortable with the flavors that they've
trust
already
us.
tried.
We're not going to give them something that they're not going to like. And if we do, we want to know why you don't like it, and we'll make it better.
Yeah, yeah.
And then or we'll take what you told us and do a new dish and make it better than you expected it to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we see people who have walked up to the truck before and been like, I don't know. And they get it, and they come back the next day like, where is it? You don't have it? Why don't you have it? I want it again.
Yeah.
You know, we did lobster rolls one day for. I mean, not that that's a hard thing to do, but literally 2 days worth of lobster. Because that's all we. I mean, people just wouldn't stop eating it. People still tweet us, "You gonna do lobster rolls today?" Like, no. Like, that's not.
And I think that's the hard part is that we have to take stuff off that people really like.
Yeah.
Because we want to do something different, you know. And, you know, when are you going to have mac and cheese back on?
Right.
Where's that cookie? Why are you guys making donuts anymore? So that's the hard part, I guess, with changing your menu around all the time. But,
so what is like the mentality behind just always changing the menu? Just cause?
I think we probably have a little bit of ADD. And I get bored doing the same thing, and that's kind of why we got away from wanting to have a restaurant, because it has to be a little more rigorous and you know, more scheduled.
Yeah.
You know, working in the industry for as long as we both have.
Yeah.
You work at places where they don't change the menu as often as you want it to. You get bored. It's mundane. It's the same thing. It's just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. We don't want that for our own business.
Yeah.
You know, we want to keep it fresh for not just for the customers, but for ourselves, to keep us on our toes. And, you know, we're always picking up a book, a magazine, reading blogs, seeing what other people are doing just to...
So basically you work with food all day and then you go home and think about more food?
Yeah, I never stop.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, that's what, you know, one of the reasons why we're here in Buffalo tonight. Had to get some fried chicken, you know? I mean,
that's awesome.
But life's too short to eat the same thing twice. You
know?
Yeah.
I see. I completely agree. Like, with our blog, like, there's so many restaurants I still haven't tried, so we very rarely revisit places, and our family like doesn't understand why I just don't go to like a same restaurant like every other week. They're like, well, it's your favorite restaurant, why don't you go there all the time?
It's just
like,
safe, you know. Why would you want to watch the same movie over and over again?
Exactly.
You know, even though, you know, if you like comedies, you like a genre, you know, at least you're changing it up a little bit.
See, I'm guilty of going to the same place every week.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I take my wife out to dinner every Monday night.
Yeah.
And it's usually at Rocco.
Yeah.
Just because I know that I'm not going to be disappointed.
That meal that I had there was fantastic.
Yes. It's, you know, I can honestly say 9.5 times out of 10, it's a fabulous meal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everyone has an off day.
Yeah.
But there's so many places in Rochester that you go to. It sounds so good. It's going to be so great, and
I think
that's
get let
down.
You know, the problem with a lot of restaurants and, you know, even food trucks is that you start to build up, you know, some kind of comfort level. Either it's bad or good. Yeah. And you get used to what they're going to provide, and the experience, and stuff along those lines. So it's hard, you know, to get to build that trust.
Yeah.
Especially when people are set in their ways, and, you know, like we were talking about before, you know, being a little backdated on what they like to eat.
Yes. I can confirm that.
You know, there's more to going out than just going and getting a steak and a potato.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the reason why places like Olive Garden and Red Lobster have 3-hour waits on a Saturday. It's because people are going to go there because they know exactly
that's the place to go when you go out.
Yeah. But also, like, when they order their dish, they know exactly what it's going to be. Like, there's no doubt in their mind that it's going to be any different than they've had it from the last 2 years they've been going there. But yeah, no, that stuff... At one point during this, like, I've just given up. Like, there's people who I will never touch or like reach rather, and I just like whatever.
Right. You know, you know, one of the things that angers or frustrated us most with the Henrietta issue is that place is known for their chain restaurants, and it's like so.
And they were so excited to have something different,
right?
Yeah.
But you know, the town didn't want us in there because they were kind of protecting the big business. But it's like those people they're not going to lose that much business from us because they're always busy. Yeah. There's not a time you can't drive down Jefferson Road where it's really chain restaurant way is what I call it. And there's not less than 30 cars in each parking lot. Yeah. And it's a shame because there's so much more out there than a chain restaurant. Yeah.
Even our burger, people are used to always getting fries with their burger, and we don't have a fryer.
Okay.
So we serve pickled vegetables in the shape of frites. Nice. Especially because the burger is so fatty and juicy, you need something to cut it.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to get over not having fries with their burger.
That was in the beginning too. What do you mean you don't have fries?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a fryer. Well, why don't you have a fryer? Well, the truck's only so big. You can only put so much on it, you know. Yeah. And we both aren't really big fans of fried food. I mean, I like fried chicken. I like, you know, there are certain fried things that I'll eat.
Yeah, we are having fried chicken tonight.
Right.
You better find some kind of way.
No, I love fried chicken. Don't get me wrong. I will go to the end of the world for fried chicken. But French fries, I mean, that's just kind of, to me, you don't need it.
There's not a lot of innovation you could do on French fries. I mean, everyone could do like a little duck fat or something like that, but
it's French fries, a French fry.
Mm-hmm.
and the burger was a staple, not what was coming with it.
Yeah.
And like Nate said, it's so fatty, you need the vegetables to make it a little healthy for you.
Yeah, no, sometimes fries are just the filler.
Right.
It's the main item.
Yeah.
We don't like fillers. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah. I like, so in Buffalo, let's say like the last 4 years, there's kind of been a resurgence in like restaurants and different cuisines and things like that going on here, and kind of this attitude of caring about the chef and like kind of getting into that. Has that been going on? Have you guys seen in Rochester? Like, is the scene been on a upswing?
I think just in general with food trucks, I mean, it gives us an opportunity finally to talk to our customers.
Yeah.
Because, for the last couple of years, both of us, you're just behind the line, just, banging out food.
Hidden behind the wall.
And it's you get bits and pieces from waiters of comments and stuff like that, but you never get to see their face, their reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that's happening in restaurants. In Rochester. I think it's slowly happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the new cuisines that are coming off the food trucks are in Rochester is pretty cool, I think.
Right.
Like, I'm jealous of some of the trucks that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, there's more coming.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a sushi truck opening up in
mac and cheese truck.
A month. Mac and cheese truck opening up in the
sushi truck sounds so messed up, but I can see it working.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not say anything on that.
All I know is they're going to be inspected.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I mean, if it works out, that's awesome. But it just sounds like the craziest damn idea.
They have they've got to have more restrictions compared to other food trucks because of the fact of the fish. But yeah, I mean, there's the mac and cheese truck. There's a sushi truck. There's an Italian. Like when I was told Italian, I thought Italian. He's like, no, Utica Italian. So it's like tomato pie.
Oh.
Like Utica, New York staple Italian food.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't either until I met my wife.
But I think every week we get a couple of either chefs or someone that's cooked, quite a bit in their life and always been interested in opening a food truck.
Don't do it.
But it's an appealing business model because you have all the freedom on you.
Yeah. I mean, but do you think like the Rochester people are more jumping into that foodie culture?
I think so. I mean, I think it's slowly. I mean, just like anything, it's slowly moving forward.
Yeah, there's definitely niches in Rochester,
but I think the food trucks are definitely helping out because we have such a wide variety of food trucks.
Yeah,
it's not a dirty dog. I mean, it's
not a garbage plate,
right? It's not a garbage plate. It's it's.
And when you get the plate truck to come.
I will.
I think I told Paul that I was shocked.
That we don't have one.
Shocked that there's not a.
There is one in Los Angeles, I do know.
Yeah,
and I think he's a
Rochester native, and his lawyer is actually based out of Rochester.
Wow.
It's called the dump truck.
But it just seems like the least resistance path would be to just open up a garbage truck plate and serve it at like 1 a.m. or whatever.
I think the biggest problem with that is that people have their plates.
Yeah,
they know where they're going to go get their plate. I'm not a big plate fan. In fact, I haven't had a plate in probably 10 years. But people.
I don't think anyone ever really plans on having a plate.
No.
That's one of those
stumble on a plate.
That was one of those things where it was like 1 a.m. and I was like wherever I just yelped in my phone garbage plate, and then we got there.
I actually had a plate once sober, about 6 years ago. I had a friend come to town from California, and he'd heard all about these plates, and he wasn't going to be in town to drink that night because he was just stopping through. We picked him up at the airport, and we went and had a plate, and I think that's why I've never had a plate since, because it was just like, oh my god,
this is really what this is.
Yeah, but no, people know where they want to go for plates, so I think that's why they haven't done a plate truck.
Yeah.
As well as, up until June 1st, the restrictions are what would keep the plate out of the bar
big
scene.
Investments also.
Oh really?
Yeah, because the big bar, not the big bars, but I'd say the bigger bars, more of the bar area is in the downtown area.
Yeah,
and there was one truck that had that spot that was quote unquote legal, even though the city has found out that it wasn't. And they did, cheap hot dogs and hamburgers. People are okay with that. So
yeah. And
like Nate said, it's a big investment to sell garbage plates. They're not cheap to build. They just keep getting more and more expensive.
Inventing in front of a bar and trying to sell ramen at 2 a.m. It's interesting.
It worked. God. I'll tell you what. There was a lot of ramen that went out that window.
That's the first thing I would want if I was hammered.
Exactly.
It's a huge bowl of noodles.
But then you get all the people, I can get so much food at Taco Bell for the same amount. And that's hard to just I don't want to say educate, but
or just
there's a huge discrepancy.
Just think of all the diarrhea you won't have.
Exactly. And that's why I'm glad I stand in the corner, especially late night, because I don't deal well with those kind of people. I would probably just tell them how it is, and Nate's good at talking.
People
to them.
throwing cash in, squirting potatoes because they think it's tacos with sriracha. So,
or like we weigh our napkins down with potatoes and stuff at nighttime. People trying to eat them. Is this free? Is this cooked? Can we eat it? So we haven't been doing late night service ever since we got shut down by the city.
Oh, really?
And we've been trying to play by the rules, trying to get back on their good side.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't miss staying out till 4 in the morning.
It is difficult.
Sunday morning you wake up at by morning I mean like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and your day's just shot because we would do market service in the morning and then go back out and stay out till 4. I mean, just till the other day we hired our first employee.
Really?
And it's
it's just been the
two of us.
It's just been the two of you guys.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
whole
we
time?
had friends every now and then help out, like if I was out of town or he was out of town, someone would come fill in, but it's just been us two.
And we've been used to working on small crews on lines and stuff, putting out a lot of food, so
Right.
it hasn't been too away from our normal.
No.
But
It's about to get busy.
yeah.
But it's a whole different schedule, too, though.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Was that like a little bit of an adjustment?
Actually, it was kind of nice. I mean, we're used to working till 10 and doing lunch and breakfast and stuff was actually kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, before, I'd work, 10-hour days. And these are just different hours. Still 10 hours, maybe sometimes a little longer, but different hours now. It's not super late,
Yeah.
or it's not super early. Unlike today, we go to the public market on Saturdays now. We're up at 4:30,
That's insane.
so we could get it, get in there, make sure we have a spot, and
It's fun though. You get to hear the roosters in the morning, and
the characters that are at the public market in Rochester at 6 in the morning are.
I don't even know what that person would be. Like,
the farmers usually are wide awake, but the people that are walking around, a lot of sweatpants, a lot of bags under their eyes.
Yeah. And a lot of people get, it's surprising that people want burgers early, super early.
We were pretty blessed though that the Rochester Public Market is what it is and has been there for so long. And there's a lot of nice vendors and stores and independent operators that are around there. So
yeah.
And it's getting bigger. They're going to expand on it.
And they really helped to start the at least awareness in Rochester of food trucks doing the rodeos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And being big proponents of trying to get something different out there.
Yeah,
That's good. Go ahead.
they have banned on the bricks there. And,
Okay.
anytime they can get a food truck in there and something, they'll get it in there. Because they knew that we were so restricted.
Yeah.
And that they knew there were so many people out there trying to make a living. And
Yeah.
it was so hard to do. So
How has it been gaining allies in the brick and mortar world? Like in Buffalo, there seemed to be a general consensus that a lot of restaurants were pretty for it. They just wanted to see more interesting things hit,
Right.
like the culinary scene. And then there was a couple outspoken people who are against it, who basically got like just lambasted publibly.
what's his
and
name?
like
Tucker?
Tucker Curtin.
Tucker.
He was the one in this
Yeah.
last round.
He was a jackass.
He's the only one who vocally came out and like spoke against it and
Right.
like just got ripped apart in the public.
It was good. I really enjoyed reading all that stuff.
Yeah.
We really haven't had anyone one voice out against us. Any restaurant owners that we know of. No one's come to us and been like, we don't want you downtown. We don't want you near a restaurant. But there were some spots that were in the quote unquote pilot program that were taken off the map because they were too close to restaurants.
Okay.
So we know that somebody said something.
Yeah.
We don't know which restaurant said it, so we don't know who's really for us or against us. And only one person is outright vocally spoken in favor of us, who owns 2 restaurants.
Okay.
But we do have support of a lot of local restaurants, signing the petitions, writing letters of support, but they're not voicing their opinion to the public, and I think it's out of maybe concern of what other restaurant owners will think of them. Like,
I see.
you shouldn't be supporting them. Maybe they're going to take your business away.
Yeah.
But these people, they don't care. They see what we could bring to the neighborhood, bring more traffic down there,
Yeah.
bring more awareness to the culinary world in Rochester, and it's only going to help both of us grow.
Yeah.
I think that was the difficulty with the city in that they want to revive it. They want to bring people downtown. We're a great option, for someone to come out.
And free.
And I understand their safety concerns and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, safety in quotes.
That was a nice political answer there.
But at the same time, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. The initial pilot program started off with 8 spots in the downtown area,
Yeah.
and we got down to 5 that were approved by DOT,
Okay.
and that was the final step. public safety in the flow of traffic and not blocking streets and all of that.
Yeah.
But then it got knocked down to 3 just before the vote, and actually no one knew about it. I'd gotten a phone call from a reporter asking me what I thought about it. Kind of caught off guard. Wait a second. There's only 3 spots now?
Yeah.
And one of the spots that was initially was supposed to be 3 trucks went down to 2. Okay. So at first I thought, okay, there's seven locations, or 7 trucks at 3 locations, but it was down to 6 trucks. And it was just like, why? What's the issue? And then we heard it was, general concerns of already established restaurants. But some of the stuff, the elected officials, I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off with this.
Yeah, if you don't want to say names, you don't have to.
No, yeah, I won't say names. There's a lot of people within the city departments that are in favor of food trucks.
Yeah.
The people that were writing the pilot program or working with the city to move forward in the Department of Traffic, in special events, in zoning.
Yeah.
They come to the truck, not just ours, but all the trucks. They support everybody. But then there was the people that were elected officials that just didn't see it the same way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because, they'd never been to a truck. In fact, to my knowledge, not a council member has been to the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we just did that presser the other day with the mayor. I think it was the first time he'd been to a truck. And that was frustrating.
I'm pretty sure
Nate's
that.
getting
Yeah,
mad.
I don't know. I mean,
Nate's getting mad at me over
it's
here.
just a larger scale of the Henrietta issues, and like when we went in front of the board, one of the members flatly said, "We haven't done this before. There is no precedent, so I don't know why we should do this." And it's just like, I mean,
that's not a great answer.
The word change or anything along those lines. And then even with the pilot program, it's a pilot program, so I guess you try to gauge it at the end or the start. Where do we want to go with this? And they really had literally no idea. And I think it's frustrating, at least on our part, that we've been working so hard, and they don't even know what they want to get out of it.
So I remember hearing about the Henrietta thing. That was basically just like a blanket ban, right?
Yeah.
Initially.
Well, we were supposed to have a permit. We didn't really know. I guess we really didn't research it.
We made a couple assumptions. We were on private property. We got approval from the property owner. We went through all the steps with them and stuff like that.
Yeah. We were also following other food trucks that had been at that location.
Yeah.
Who didn't have permits as well. They,
Yeah.
We didn't ask, but they didn't say, "Hey, you need to have a permit to be there."
Yeah.
And
so we were naive. It's not like we consciously knew that's what was going on.
Right. Yeah.
And then there was the fact that we had been there for 6 to 7 months, and then we finally got told.
That was
rough.
Yeah, hearing that knock on the door, before service. Just got done making, 2.5 gallons of cheese sauce just for the people who love their mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And so you have to
it's
go.
like the suburbs in the city. They spilled some milk and they forgot about it, and then it got bigger and bigger, and they finally decided to put a paper towel on it.
We weren't the only ones in Henrietta.
Yeah.
There was other trucks in Henrietta, and there was some press about some trucks being in Henrietta.
Mm-hmm.
And we were flat out told by the building inspector that someone had emailed him the article and asked a question. So he had to do his job. He's worked with us ever since. We worked with him to get it right.
Yeah.
And it was the 2 months not being there was kind of hard though.
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't know how to deal with us. And they still don't.
Yeah.
Because they allowed us to be there with a permit that's site specific, date specific, time specific.
Okay.
It's not we can't just roll into Henrietta on Monday.
And we weren't asking for we were literally asking for 6 hours. I mean, it's not like, and the apprehension that we would be taking business away from these chains restaurants. I mean, a 6-hour vending cycle.
We're not even there for 6 hours. We were asking for it.
Yeah.
But we vend from 11:30 to 1:30.
Yeah.
So it's like, 4 hours.
That's probably the overall discouraging part is I don't think we're asking that much. We're not asking the world.
Yeah.
And, we're just asking for a couple spots downtown, and it just took, forever.
So right now, where is the state of permits and
June 1st is when the pilot program starts.
Okay.
It was pretty difficult to qualify, and
so what is the pilot program like?
The pilot program is 3 2-truck spots in the downtown area.
Okay.
That have restricted vending times and hours. You can only be there for 4 hours.
Is this is this literally just a street?
No, there's one on a place called the Andrew Street Bridge, and I don't know the time. I don't really know the times yet because we've been so busy trying to get
change around all the time too.
Right.
So
Andrew Street Bridge, State and Main, and then Broad and Platte.
And it's a self police program.
Okay.
First come, first serve.
Okay. And is it only spot for one truck or
two?
Oh, two trucks. Two trucks at a time. Okay.
Yeah, if you fit. You know, the length restriction before was 26. They moved it up to 28 feet. But doesn't mean you're always going to fit because somebody, a car behind you, there's going to be these parking signs that, no parking between these hours, food trucks only. But some jackass might leave his car kind of parked in there. You're not going to be able to get in there. And like Nate said, it's self-policing and it's a 4-hour window, so you got to pull out after 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they put a bunch of restrictions. It's just weird. They put a bunch of restrictions on, and then they decided for us to be self-policed.
Yeah.
So they didn't do anything for the last couple of years. They've had people talking about it, trying to build support and what have you. And then they decided just to go the 180 direction and put a lot of fire restrictions and not huge things, but it was just weird how they decided to actually start to crack down on small stuff. But then we're like, you guys can do whatever you want out there,
Right. Well, I mean, and the main reason what they told us why it's got to be first come first service because there can't be a lottery system on the street because the street's owned by the state, and in the state of New York there can't be a lottery system on the street. So that's okay. We get that, but I mean, we see trying to get 20 plus truck owners in a room together to come to with one common voice of this is how we're going to do a schedule.
Yeah. How is the truck community in Rochester? Here, for the most part, it's pretty.
Can we not answer that question?
No, I think that definitely on the most part, it's probably very similar.
Yeah,
everyone tries to.
I think there's a big group in Buffalo.
Work together.
Yeah, I think in Buffalo the majority work together and are very open and have a communication. I think there's a couple of black sheep,
right,
who are on their own thing.
I think the difficulty was we presented a bunch of plans to the city, and then they just kind of picked which one they really wanted. So,
yeah.
What unity we had before kind of dissolved because they only have a couple spots. We're self-police.
Yeah.
And the restrictions are really hard for a lot of truck owners to get downtown.
Yeah.
For example, they want us to have an ANSEL system in a
by
year.
2015.
Yeah.
Which
is great. It's an overhead suppression system.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
But it's $3,000. I mean, in the greater scheme, it's not that much money.
Yeah.
But you invest all this money, you think everything's legitimized, and then a month later they change the rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like they just made us lift our propane tanks up 28 inches off the bumper for DOT safety in case you get rear-ended. That wasn't cheap to do. It wasn't expensive, but it's just like, oh, that's just another thing. So a lot of people are kind of hesitant about joining this pilot program because they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
One, on the pilot program, fight for a spot. Two, then to have to do all these,
Is there a clown in here?
changes on their truck to become legal. But and there's questions about why they chose these things that they chose.
Yeah.
One of the things that's just really funny is like we have to have signage on the back, no smoking, both in English and Spanish. We understand that it's propane, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But the letters can't be smaller than 4 inches.
That's so.
So what was
it's literally bigger than some of
sign?
the logos on the truck. They're 21 by 24.
21 by 24.
We have to have 2 of them.
Yeah. The back of our truck is 8 feet wide, so 21 by 24 times 2. I mean that's half the truck just in signage for.
And so we did our inspection yesterday, and we showed him the signs, and he was like, "Oh, that's 4 inches. That's what you guys asked for."
Those are, they're huge signs.
So
I mean, but there's little things that we understand the safety issues. They want a carbon monoxide detector on the truck. They want.
I think generally we're just happy to be downtown.
Yeah.
I think the program will end up being successful. I know there's a huge craving for this type of application and different styles of food and on the street, quick and go. So I think now that they've let us go, I don't know if they can put us back in Pandora's box.
Yeah.
I
think we want to know how they're going to grade, if you will.
Yeah.
This pilot program, because we don't know yet.
Yeah.
What's a success? What's a failure? Because 6
Yeah,
months is going to go by real quick.
So that's how long the program.
The program goes till December 31st.
Okay.
Or January 1, whichever you want to say, and then we'll up soon before then we'll all sit down again as the truck owners and what they call stakeholders in the city of Rochester, and then city council and city officials, and revisit the program, hear from everyone's side of the story, and then move forward. But we don't know what's going to happen at that point in time. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. They were asked a question, what was the metric on this, and no one really had an answer. So we're still waiting to get that answer.
It's as if it works.
Right, but I mean, I think it's going to be...
I think generally you just want to move past this. This is just getting a little ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah,
we want to sell
less time focused on this.
We're here to focus about the food.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
You know, to keep going through, sessions at City Hall or in the town or trying to find... I spent all yesterday trying to find signs. For some reason, I think I can allocate my time a little better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Doing this, we didn't think we'd become, small-time lawyers and politicians. And
I think if you ask any of the food truck owners here, too, they'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. No, and speaking with them, with Lloyd's, we talked to them a bunch, and the guys from Black Market and Roaming Buffalo.
Yeah.
And, they had a lot of insight on how to deal with it, where to go from it,
yeah,
when to take a deep breath.
This is a problem that's happening
out.
everywhere. I mean,
Right.
we're
Exactly,
not just a small microcosm. I mean, this is a general...
I read an article in, New York City, and, it's
Right.
just not good.
D.C., New York, New Orleans, Atlanta.
It's a new style of business, and,
Yeah, pretty much everywhere except for Portland and Austin.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know the difficulty to begin with in Rochester was the initial meeting, I think, in October and November last year for just the hot dog carts. They do a little lottery system, and they had changed the map from 2008. Well, they fired the girl that makes the map, so they just kind of did a Sharpie job on the old map. And so they literally can't pay to rewrite the laws, and so in some regard, they're trying to figure out some way they can just kibosh it without having to spend.
Because a lot of work went into it, and we thank the people in the city
Yeah,
who did the work for it.
yeah,
Because they definitely were advocates, and they pushed us along to stay happy.
yeah. So with that kind of somewhat of a restriction of the downtown area, does that mean that you guys are going to be focusing more on events or catering, or
We definitely, the beginning, I think our business plan, at least, we didn't want to be doing a lot of catering, because but we changed our mind very quickly. Nate looks at me funny. I didn't want to do a lot of catering because that's what all we ever did before at the restaurant. But we were a restaurant day to day, lunch and dinner, but we did a very large portion of the day to day sales came from catering.
yeah,
And that gets old. But in the last 3 months, and then in the next 7 months, I think we're out. It's just crazy catering, weddings, birthday parties, graduation parties, just parties in general.
I think we do a good mix. Services out in the street, like you said, weddings or picnics. So we do a whole range of stuff, and then private catering, private chefing. So I think that's going back to why we really like is you can really make it however you want. You can do whatever food you want.
Yeah.
Work whatever hours, cook for whoever you want. So the effort's really up on you if you want to get out there.
Right. Lunch downtown is definitely going to be different than I think anyone's experienced.
Yeah.
Because everybody's doing it in the suburbs.
yeah,
You're in a business park. There's only so many people. The city, there's a lot more. I mean, we did one day downtown illegally, and they came out like cockroaches. We didn't know where they came from. We didn't know there was that many people that worked in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't do any social media. I think we sent out one tweet to the company that asked us to come,
yeah.
and they retweeted it, and that was it. And then it was just like we opened the window, and it was just like boom. And an hour and a half later, we had no food. We were just like, oh,
So
I
the
guess
potential's
there's more
definitely
people.
there.
Yeah.
The potential's definitely there to be good.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be the same. The spots aren't in the same location, but it's close by. But what was it? 50,000 people work downtown in Rochester during the day.
Nice.
So they've got to eat somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, I know a lot of people brown bag it. A lot of people go to the same place, but
And I know we kind of run into a problem that we cook everything to order, and sometimes they're used to getting like the garbage plate and stuff like that. It's cooked a lot faster,
right. Or grabbing a
Yeah.
slice of pizza from the local pizza place.
Yeah,
It's already
yeah.
done.
yeah.
We just did a party the other day for 220 people, and they were all construction workers, and I think they expected the burgers to come out a lot faster, like they may have been pre-done, but
Schaefer dish or something.
yeah, we do we cook everything, and we run out of food all the time, but it's because we do everything on the truck, and we do everything so fresh. We don't have a commissary, we don't have storage.
Yeah.
We want it to be that way.
We don't have a freezer.
Yeah, we don't
So-
freeze anything.
Wow.
Everything's got to pretty much turn over in a couple
Jeez.
days, which is fun because that gives us a chance to do something different.
Yeah,
And that's
But
yeah.
then it's also difficult because
Right.
we don't have anything. Let's what are we gonna do? But
You're just
that's the
looking
beauty.
at stuff and you're like, what are we
Right.
gonna do?
Yeah.
We did a 3-day festival in Canandaigua, in November last year, and we were an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half away from home base, if you will, where we did our day-to-day prep in the truck, and we were just run out of stuff. We'd run out of 2 things, we'd make it into one. what was left over from one, what was left over from the other, and it worked. People loved it, and they didn't care.
Yeah, thank God we have a chalkboard and not a
right.
printer.
we actually changed the menu so many times that week, and we broke the chalkboard, which was a good thing. I mean, the amount of soup that these people ate too. We were making 5 gallons of 2 different soups each day, and it was just going.
Jeez.
So, but
But it's nice changing with the seasons and what's what's new, what's out there, and or trying to put some kind of flavor profile that you're not used to, or like ram kimchi. Not that that's insane, but
well,
just
for a lot of
different.
people, that's a lot of people. That's kind of insane.
Yeah. Right. A lot of people buy the the prepackaged kimchi, and it's or they don't even know what ramps are.
But generally, all that stuff is fun for us. I mean, it's not really work, which is, I guess, the greatest part about this.
Yeah.
Right. Like you got the watermelon pickles or the rind pickles because we don't waste anything.
That's awesome.
We use everything. You name it, we'll use it. Just because we are so small, we got to.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, got to use it all up.
So, I guess we could close it up. Like, what do you guys see going forward? Like, what are your goals for the truck? Like, do you want to do more crazy things? Would you love a second truck? Like,
there's a lot of ideas. I mean,
I mean, short and long term. I mean, do you have like some things?
Oh, we definitely will be doing more trucks. Not in the short term, but sooner than later. I'd love to have another truck. But we got to wait for the city. You got to see what they do because there's only so many places to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we have looked at other places to potentially open a truck.
No, Buffalo would love you guys.
We've looked at Buffalo. We've looked at Syracuse. I mean, it's just we are both control freaks, and that's kind of a problem to be so far apart.
Yeah.
So I think our next truck would be in Rochester to start off with, but we got to see what the city does.
Would you ever consider a restaurant, like an actual brick and mortar?
We've kind of gone back and forth.
Long term, yeah. I mean, we would love it, but then it takes away from what the whole idea of why we left it.
Yeah.
We left the restaurants because, we don't like the white tablecloths anymore.
I want to say we have an ideal of doing great food that's accessible, but I think it's a mentality that can go in a lot of different avenues.
Yeah.
Whether that be prepared food or something. We've worked in a lot of different varying jobs, and I think this is kind of a conglomerate of all of our previous experiences and stuff we've tasted, stuff we've made. So really, it's always in a work in progress.
Yeah.
I would love a restaurant just for the commissary aspect of it. I mean, we would, and to open a commissary, you might as well open a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. If you're spending the money to build a kitchen, what's, a couple more chairs and some tables, you got it all there already. So
yeah. Nice. Well, you guys do an awesome job,
Thank
you guys so much for driving to Buffalo. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's fried chicken involved, but I also appreciate you coming here a little bit earlier.
We've been trying
too.
to do this for a while.
Yeah.
So, and sorry that it took us a while to get here.
So
but
busy, but
and I can't recommend anyone who's listening to this enough to drive up to Rochester and check you guys out because you really do some really unique and awesome stuff that even in a restaurant I would love. So it's not just because it's on a food truck; it's flat out just good
make
food.
People happy. I mean, that's kind of the end goal.
Yeah.
And, getting past all the permits and all of the other bullshit
shenanigans.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, good luck this summer, and I hope everything
Thank
works
you.
out.
We'll hope to see you.
Yeah.